Gainsight's product experience solution helps you understand how your customers are or aren't using your product and proactively guide them to value with personalized engagements. Gainsight tracks every login, page visit, and click that a user can take in your product, enabling you to pinpoint where users are dropping off and identify the sticky features that drive retention, making it easier for your product team to build products your customers love. To learn more, please schedule your personalized demo today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Product-Led Festival. We really hope you're enjoying the summit so far because we've got even more insights heading your way. All sessions are designed to be interactive and give you the chance to engage with our panelists, so come ready to get involved with your questions and comments. For all things PLG, don't forget to check on the PLA memberships at productledalliance.com. Sit back and enjoy the next session.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know we guys are joining globally. In fact, I'm joining from Bay Area, United States, and it's a nice morning, I should say. So today, like I know you guys have already gone through multiple awesome, lovely sessions on the product, and I'm gonna touch one of the aspect of the product, and that's more around the cross-functional collaboration. Okay, how you can leverage that and just share my experiences more around that. It's not a new topic, but just want to speak something from my experience about that. So with that, let's quickly dive in. Yeah, but before that, I just hope you and your family are keeping up safe and healthy during these crazy times. Okay, so with that, let's move to the next one. So before we move ahead, I just want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Ashish Garg. I'm a product leader at Walmart. I have been a subject matter expert in retail e-commerce and supply chain domain, and I love to launch a lot of innovative products. Okay, right now I'm launching and executing a lot of products using the next gen technologies that is going to be machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, augmented analytics. Okay, and I'm here because I love to talk about product. I really like to experiment a lot in the product, like different ways of execution, mostly like how you can just launch product in products. That's one of the concept I say, and I say use a couple of my own terminologies, how to execute product as a Lego block, etc., etc. So, and also like just to mention a couple of my passions about like I love to build a lot of innovative products. I'm actually crazy about moonshot ideas. So I sometimes like one of the product that I keep under my hood is like more of a moonshot. Okay. Sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of learnings around that. I love to connect with people. I love to mentor people. Even I love to be uh, support to drive the careers, roadmaps, and all that stuff for folks. Also, I just help folks to just be rockstar leaders. What do they need to cultivate in them to be a leader or an individual contributor? More around the mentoring part of me. Some of the interesting facts is like I'm a dual master's in data science, and it's just like completely from the passion of data that I have. Okay, because I always say I'm a data-backed product manager. I always take data into my hood whenever I'm talking about product as well. So with that, I also recently did some of the research around the COVID, leveraging some machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies, and that has gone through like that has been recognized a lot, and like soon we will see that in one of the research book on COVID. So that's due on publication. And apart from that, I love to hike and also brainstorm. So I actually tend to just go with my friends and with my colleagues on hikes, and there we just used to brainstorm this maximum technologies and all this stuff. What we can do, crazy things, and make bring it to the product world. So that's in summary just about me. Okay, let's move to the next one. So this is one of the code that I admire a lot, and actually I just pass it on to my peers and colleagues whenever I'm just talking to them. It's from the Alexander Graham Bell. Great discoveries and improvements invariably involve the cooperation of many minds. The gist of it is, it's not a one-man show. It's always a teamwork or a collaborative effort. Just to put it in a simple terms, with an example, it's like the landing of man on moon. Yeah, it was done by Neil Armstrong, but it was not only his effort. There was a whole team sitting back at NASA backing him up. There was a collaboration across multiple departments, whether it was like you talk about the team from rocket science, medical center, security, safety, everyone. All of them had a part in making this event, the big event in the mankind, go successful to get this Apollo 11 first to go to the moon, and then Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. So that's the magnitude of collaboration in success, and we should all do that. So let's go and okay. So let's talk something about collaboration. So whatever you see on this clouds and everything, it's like the 8 pillars that you need for the collaboration. But right now, let's just shift focus to the image that I have on the slide. It's a tug of war, and tug of war you see one versus the three. Okay, it's like how I want to portray it. Like you have a left side and a right side. So left side you have just one person trying to do everything, and on the right side you have 3 person who are just trying to take that burden and share it across. Let me bring the synergy from one of my experiences here. So, like 6 years back, I was actually in Europe and I was executing demand and supply planning for one of the wholesalers. And the requirement came from the merchandising team like, we need to leverage our sales history, okay, and use that to define the forecast for the next year. And then based on that, we want to go ahead and get the automated purchases orders to the vendors or the third party shippers. That was their problem statement, and they wanted like you come in and just help us with that. Use some like algorithms or use some uh, advanced machine learning and AI to do that for us. And they said like they're just bothered about the sales history, and based on that they can just do. They are not worried about the SKUs and about that stuff. I said, okay, fine, we can do that. Uh, but I feel this needs a collaboration. And they were like, why do you think so? I said, definitely to define your purchase orders, you need to have the finance approval for those. Like, what is the budget you have? Okay, what is how much money they are giving you to place all of these purchase orders? Do you have that approval? Or before that, do you have any growth in mind? What are you looking at? Okay, at the org level, what is that? And secondly, I think another thing that to look at is like the supply chain. If you're placing the purchase orders, will your supply chain support those? You might go and place like hundreds and thousands of purchase order and your supply chain is choked. What will you do with that? Your warehouses don't have a place to have those items. What are you going to do that? So it needs a synergy and harmony across these functions. It can't be a demand and supply planning in isolation just from the merchandising. Now, taking that example to this particular scenario, if I need to take, so if you look from the left side, either that person, the product leader or the product manager for this initiative, either he needs to have this vision, visibility, understanding of what merchandising wants, how it integrates with the finance and what finance needs and what are their levers, and also how supply chain works and how their levers also integrate into this. Either he needs to have that all that complete visibility, or we can put these three masters. One is coming from the merchandising, defining the merchandising needs, another coming from the finance, defining the how the finance will play into this, and third one coming from the supply chain, giving the supply chain. And these are the three masters of the three streams. And if you look at it, if you execute with the left one, you might skip many points, you might have delayed schedule, you might have a lot of this particular one leader might have a lot of issues in execution, a lot of stress around it, and he will be just like facilitating everything, all the three parties and all the three functions. While on the right side, it's like these three masters from the three different functions will have a cross functional collaboration where they will come and make sure it happens. So from this analogy, from this comparison, you see which one would you like to go? Definitely you will opt for the right side, because right one, you will have more efficiency from these masters. It will take less time for execution, and even the cost for execution will be low. And the performance, your matrices all will shoot up high. So that is where the collaboration comes in. And this is how you do the cross-functional collaboration across the different teams. But to facilitate that collaboration between these three different masters, you need to have some ground rules. And these ground rules are like support. They need to support each other. And it can't be like one-way support. They need to also assist each other how to do their work. So right now, if it is a merchandising team asks, so finance and supply chain team will help him how he should be executing them. What are the levers? What are the caveats? What are the bottlenecks? They need to, that person from the merchandising needs to account for the supply chain and the finance. And on the flip side, finance and supply chain will also receive those inputs from the merchandising. Teamwork, they have to go in harmony to make this a success. Then success is not a one person's credit. Then it will be a team success. So it needs to be passed on to everyone. Inspiration, they have to inspire each other on this way, on this journey. They have to trust each other that they are not crossing each other's ways. And they should share the information. They should share what they are doing and exchange all of that with each other to make it more harmonious. So moving on to the So this is what I was talking about, the cross-functional collaboration. Right now, for an example, I just gave like 4 different functions here, okay, as a theme, but it can just extend to multiple beyond this as well. Okay, so and what you see is like you have a collaboration or a buy-in from each of these teams. Okay, and sometimes it's a buy-in among the team itself, like the engineering can have some teams. Let's go into the next one. So engineering can have multiple teams, okay, multiple cross-functional teams. There can be a team which is completely dedicated to the front-end developers, back-end developers, testing, QA. There can be a data science team, data engineering team, cloud engineers, infrastructure team. There can be multiple teams. Just let's take a simple example of developing a web app. For web app, you need a front-end team who will just completely focus on the UI part of it. They will be responsible to brainstorm with the users, develop all of these user journeys, what is the use cases for the user, and all this stuff. And there will be a backend team who will be just supporting them how these use cases are executed. Then you have this data engineering, which might be just creating data pipelines, getting all of this data what they need from the data lake. And then again, infrastructure or cloud team will define where all of this setup can be uh, deployed. So this is a sort of a collaboration. In all of these engineering teams need to work in harmony to bring a product to life. If they can't just like you can just have the front end engineers developing all the back end stuff. No, that you need a collaboration between them. And you have again a security team who will define that all the security aspects. So yeah, this is just an example, but yeah, that's a sort of collaboration which is in here. Okay, with talking a lot of collaboration, but yeah, we need to understand there are some caveats, some watch outs. So let's talk about those. So what are the watch outs or what you should be um, cautious about when you are talking about collaboration? So when you talk collaboration and basically cross-functional collaboration, you need to be very cautious about that you are not crossing each other paths or you are not getting overwhelmed. Okay. So it's not like you like I just gave an example initially about the demand supply application. You are from the merchandising team and you have a finance partner. It should not be like a finance partner is getting into merchandising and defining how that needs to be done, or the merchandising person getting into finance and defining how finance needs to be done. They should actually respect each other's area and make sure they don't invade into that. Sometimes most of the times actually, it happens unknowingly. The and it has happened with me. I get overexcited about like, oh, how they are doing things. And I try to understand more and start throwing my ideas and all of that stuff. Throwing ideas and everything is good, but then don't try to hold those ideas and just bring it to like, okay, this is how it should be executed. Don't just feel free to learn, but don't feel free to just say this is how it should be done. So there's a thin line here, which everyone needs to understand when doing collaboration. Respect each other's role, respect each other's space, and respect whatever the work they are doing. Also, be cautious not to like bring in more harsh feedback on things. Understand their point of view. Okay. Sometimes it happens like collaboration, they feel like, okay, I'm supernova in getting things done, but that person might not be. These are different working styles. So always make sure you respect that as well. Also, collaboration. Sometimes what happens with collaboration, you go with a defined goal, but with other partners coming in and pitching in, it becomes like overwhelming. Okay, they tend to give more suggestions, they tend to add more stuff to your goal, and it becomes like overwhelming, overarching, and sometimes it becomes directionless. You are just lost, just roaming around in all of these different ideas and stuffs, brainstorming, and you don't result in anything. So you need to make sure where you are heading. Okay, be cautious of not to cross the line. Be cautious of not to overwhelm with these different ideas. So that those are the watch outs that you need to be sure of when doing collaboration, and definitely have trust in your partners. If you are delegating things, don't hold them like, okay, this is just doing a check again or just like chasing them. Okay, delegate them and make them accountable for those things. That's all. Talking about some success mantras. Okay, so a couple of things. Always be focused on your goal. Why you started this product at the first place? What was the goal? Bringing in collaboration, bringing in these different ideas. Don't deviate from that. If you want to go from point A to point B, make sure you are doing that. If you have something new ideas coming in place, like for point C or point D, make it as the next steps. But first, make sure what you started with, you are achieving that. Okay. Don't just get too overwhelmed or don't get too deviated from that. Deviations are good. It can be improvisation or something, but it should be justified why. It should not be just like it looks good. Okay. Do not cross. That's something. Always do not cross that line. Don't try to build a product for your collaborator bypassing them. It happens. Unknowingly, it happens. So you are doing something in your merch space and you will be like, okay, finance, there will be finance merch. And they will be like, okay, let me do something. I can incorporate that into it. Collaboration is good. If you want to do, put that idea with that partner, bring him onto agreement with you, and then go with that. But don't go in a silo. So don't cross that line. And that is the one of the main aspects for the trust as well. Sometimes crossing those lines unknowingly breaks the trust, breaks the collaboration, breaks the teamwork, and eventually your whole product is at a loss. What is impacted? The product is impacted. So yeah, that is one thing. Another thing, expectation versus reality. When you are doing collaboration, a lot of different expectations from different partners will creep in. Make sure you are giving everyone a reality check from time to time. In fact, at the start of the collaboration, when you are meeting different partners, set up your expectations clear. Don't give any vague expectations which becomes a roadblock at later stage. Keep things transparent and clear. And also keep on doing your reality check with everyone. Where is your product headed? At times with collaboration, overwhelming, a lot of new stuff coming in, a lot of new ideas coming in, and it becomes like a lot of mess to solve. So keep your expectations clear. If you are clear with your view, this is what you want to do, hold on to that. Anything new, consider that, but keep it in your backlog. Keep it in your next iteration. Keep it as a stretch goal. but don't deviate your current. So focus on your goal, respect your guardrails, keep your guardrails always up, respect your guardrails, and always do a reality check and expectation check with all your collaborators and with your team, with your product as well. So that's pretty much I had to talk today about collaboration. I know it was a short, crisp talk around that, and there's a lot to add, but this is something I had. I just wanted to share with you, and always open to feedback and open to questions. So if you have any questions, so you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just ping me there, and we can always chat on there, or you can always just drop me an email. We can also just set up some time, talk about things. I love to interact. I love to brainstorm a lot about these different ideas. So again, thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate your feedback. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Happy to answer them. Thanks.
Thank you, Ashish, for that. That was a great presentation. He is joining me now for a Q&A session. I think he's just here now. There we go. Hey, Ashish. We've got one question in the chat, which we'll go straight to. Asking, for a small startup, how would you recommend ensuring good collab from the start, and how to maintain these channels as things scale?
That's actually a very interesting question. So, like, I would totally say, like, I'm not gonna take my Walmart learnings to this particular question, okay? But when you are setting up a small startup and you're just actually starting up, it's better to define all your guardrails on your like roles and responsibilities. Definitely at startup, sometimes you would like to just play multiple hats, okay? Because you're just ramping up, you're just warming up. But once you get to a scale when you are getting overwhelmed with your aspects, try to define guardrails, define your arenas in which you should operate. You can, for the start, you can definitely wear multiple hats when you're just sorting out your problem statement, you're sorting out what you want to do, what you want to achieve. But once you are there on full blown, you have the clarity, you have the vision, you have what you want to achieve, then define like roles. Okay, this is going to be the marketing expertise, this is going to be merchandising, this is going to be sales, or all of that stuff.
Great, thank you for that. Just give it a couple of seconds, see if anyone else can pop any. Oh, there we go. One from Sandy, who's asked, apologies if you mentioned this, she joined a bit late, but what kind of internal communications tools do you use, and how has the pandemic impacted internal comms?
Sure. So right now we are just zooming in all the time, and we are on Teams and just trying to be on phone calls and all of that stuff. But yeah, definitely there's an impact from pandemic. Before pandemic, we just used to go like walk to someone on the desk, just take a quick coffee break, do some like candid chats and all of that stuff. That used to give like a lot of collaboration. Very frankly, I miss, and like a lot of great ideas used to come more from coffee chats, lunches, and all of that stuff. Right now, we can't do that. So there has been an impact, but what we have tried and we learned over the period of time, we started doing happy hours and doing some candid chats over the lunch meetings and all. Doesn't look that fancy, but yeah, definitely it helped. Okay, so I believe like formal meetings, you have a set agenda, but candid chats are the most productive ones because you can be open, you don't have any guardrails, you don't have another one judging you on what you're saying, okay? Because you're just throwing an idea with just like maybe a lol, that's it. So yeah, but right now we're just zooming in, we just tend to do Teams chat, Zoom chat, all of that stuff, emails. Yeah, but one thing I can say, I see less number of emails as compared to Zoom now. Whenever we like, oh, we need to talk, let's zoom in. That's it. So yeah, that's how it goes.
Thanks for that. We've got another question here from Michelle, who's asked, when starting a new role with an emphasis on collaboration across functions, what are some ways to show your value from the start?
Okay. So when you're starting a new role, okay, make sure you have an expertise from the domain perspective. Even if you don't have an expertise, you know what that domain is, okay? So you can bring that outlook. Again, your past experience, bring that expertise, okay? Don't ever think like whatever your past expertise, it won't join. For me, like I started as a very like techie, and then like within 2 years, I just moved into domain and the product world. But what I did in the tech world actually gave me a lot of stuff, like how things operate. Okay, use that, modulate that, and bring it to the table. Everyone has a value to offer. Just that, make sure you are not like underplaying your value that you don't know. Try to bring it to the value. If others people will say, either will they will have an option, either accept or reject. If they reject, you will understand like why did they reject, and you can improvise on top of that. But yeah, definitely bring whatever you have and understand your role pretty well. And again, know your guardrails. When I say guardrails, you need to know all your stakeholders and how, on what level you should interact with them. So that will help you to collaborate better.
Nice, thank you. If anyone wants to pop any more questions quickly in the chat, feel free to do so. But if not, thank you very much.
I see one more question there from
From
Louis.
Lou. Yeah, I did miss that one. Which teams typically have the most friction in your experience?
So he's putting me in the spot. So yeah, I would say that teams where their functions actually are quite similar, they have a tight dependency, and they slightly overlap. That is where you have more friction, because they define the same world from two different aspects. Example can be like pure play merchandising, and there's a merch finance, and there is a finance. Like these are three different functions. So merch finance is generally a subset of finance, which actually plays closely with the merchandising. And they tend to, so the merch finance task is to align the merchandising from the finance aspect. Like this is your financial levers that you should be using, your budgets and all of that stuff. And merchandising will be just defining pure play based on the market demand, how the company is growing, how the consumer demand they see. So sometimes when they get into the room trying to do a planning, they might overlap. Okay, so that is where sometimes friction happens. But again, that friction sometimes turns out to be very like a good way. It is like most productive. But again, caution point, respect each other's guardrails. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I think that kind of brings us to time. So thank you very much, Ashish, for your presentation and for answering everyone's questions today. It was a great session, and thanks to everyone for tuning in. We've got one more session to come today, so stay tuned. And thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.